and you're wrong. Hit a refresh. There we go. There. I had changed all these graphics with the misspelling and everything. What up, what up, what up? Give me one moment. Let me. Un momento, por favor. Let me get this pop in. Give me a second. Let me delete this video. Let me get this out of here. Hold up. You know what? Hold on one second. I'll clean it up later. You know what? I'll do that later. I get up. I'll do that later. One moment, y'all. Let me just get this link in the Discord, and then we will get it started, man. Hope everyone is blessed. Blessed. Bless up. All right. There we go. And then I can play. No, I'm not going to play that one. But yeah, relax. What? All right. All right. I'm about to get this started in a bit. So today, with everything that's going on in the world, I've been, you got to stay centered or have some sort of grounding through this immediate chaos. I mean, when I say chaos, I mean, you've got to see the wars, rumors of wars, all the BS we've got to see every single day. I don't watch the news as far as the mainstream media as it may. I don't have time for it. When you're trying to figure out how to move in this landscape, it's hard to just consume narratives. You don't deserve narratives, but that's what we get, right? So throughout everything and throughout this transition of what we're seeing in our world, I've been myself, because I've been going through this for a long time. Like I said, when I was getting into the music game, when I came back from the military, and I saw how hard it was to get in, and I saw what the damage mentally, especially with the amount of drugs some of them folks was doing. You just, and then I even, like I said, going back with my father, and which I'll get into everything in order, but I just want just an overarching view of just as everything begins to transition digitally, as everything changes, there has to be a level of, understanding what we're exactly dealing with. How far this rabbit hole goes, because it goes far. But at some point in time, we've got to understand that tech is tech. You can have it, you can use it, or you can be used by it. Right? So I start this and preface this by just giving you a bit of background as to why I think the way I do, the travel I've come in my development as a man, as 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 what I could consider a father, and soon to be a husband, right? And with that, the responsibility of what I believe Yeshua, or as people want to call him Jesus, said was, be your brother's keeper. The lesson we don't get is that, because of our vanity. The easiest way for Yeshua to tell us something was, hey, yeah, do unto others as you do unto yourself, but no, love your brother as you love yourself. Like, be your brother's keeper. Be your brother's keeper. Like, look out for each other. And in doing that, you put your own vanity away and look out for somebody else. And it begins to transition or change your mind state, because you get out of a selfish mode. And that's hard to deal with, because, it's always, I got to get mine. I got to get mine. I got to get mine. Especially that's the culture that they've bred into our mind states. Now, I am past all of the colorisms crap. I'm past it. Especially when you go overseas and then you see people that are lighter than you and they basically worship the same or feel the same or look at you differently. Like I told y'all the story about being in Japan and an old woman touching my face and saying and through translation, through our granddaughter, telling me my skin was beautiful and that my skin was the first skin. And for me to not understand that, like, I didn't know that. Up until that point, yeah, you saw like the Malcolm X stuff was going on, but that whole thing didn't really jive in my mind state. What's up, RTP? Shots out, fam. I appreciate you chilling out with me, man. I'm looking at life, and it's as you get older, y'all, like when your bones ache, like getting old sucks. Like I used to look at old dudes like, you're old dude. But I never thought I was gonna get there. As a black man in the 80s, I didn't think I was gonna get there. Every one of like my homeboys, well, I won't say 80s. I'll say deeper in the 90s, right, when I was in the military, because of on the NG way back to back streams. Yo, I knew I was gonna do a Sabbath talk today, man. I knew I was gonna do one today, but I had to do a business talk yesterday, or I would leak it into this conversation, and I didn't want that to happen. Like, so I needed to get the business stuff out yesterday, so that when I talk business today, it's different. I can kind of like, I harped on all the crazy shit that's going on with what's going on with our economy, blah, 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 all that shit, all the numbers and all that. I wanted that gone. So I could be like, I can just talk from someplace else. Like, I don't have to worry about the economics of things. I need to worry about the sentiment of our soul. Like this shit, the stuff I've seen on the street, y'all, just driving is mad. It's maniac. Now, I mean, I won't say it's crazy, because I know there's places right now in California where it's bad, in New York where it's bad, in Chicago, in Texas, and some certain places. So please understand, I'm very cognizant of my blessings, extremely cognizant of it. But I'm also seeing the anger, extreme anger, like, and I get the anger, I get it. Especially from us as our people. Like, we have nothing to lash out at, because now, we've been indoctrinated to trust some ish. Right? And first, before we go Anglo bashing, please understand we did it first. If you know your history, we did it first. So don't get it twisted. The Dark Ages, you were rulers and you were doing stupid shit, and Father pulled the chain in 400 years, deal. And narratives, shifts in polar or whatever, look, I just need to go to the sentiment. I don't need to get, I need to get to the sentiment of the narrative, and not the rigmaroles of whether or not we're in a Mandela effect. and what shifted and what storylines are in what phase. I don't know and I don't care, because that is ingress on ingress and counting generational type beats crap, and I don't got time for it. What I do understand is at some point in time, we get real vain, and on the fourth generation that hates father, we start acting the hell up. And then, bam, shit collapses, because it's not just the fact of our greed and our vanity, it's our depravity. And we don't want to deal with those things. Like, I love a rock and I love my feather, but we don't even want to deal with our ingress. And you don't gotta be like Bible thumping. I'm just saying, look, there was like a simple narrative that Yeshua left, which was love you. You gotta love your father with all of your heart, right? So if your father, your creator, has 10 commitments or 10 command lines, all he's asking for you is to write it on your heart, to just understand it. You don't have to do some hubba bubba, bow, do all this crazy ritualistic shit. I mean, we forget that all Father wanted to do was walk in a freaking garden, for real. Like, that's why Enoch got took up. You know how simple that shit is? Like, I used to walk around as a kid and I was reading the book in the Bible, and all of my elders is do as I say, not as I do. And I'm like reading this. You want me to read the scripture? I'm reading it. All right. And then I'm looking at your life and you're not living it as a kid. And then in the Bible is like the children will inherit the kingdom before an adult will. And then it says, because you're hard-headed, you've hardened your heart. And it was that simple. Like, you hardened your heart to me. And look, as I got older, I kept seeing it everywhere. I kept seeing that life could not just be as rudimentarily stupid as they want. Like, their narrative of the whole, you came from the sea, monkey, blah, blah, and all this crap and all of that stupidity. In school, oh man, it made no sense. Just like in history class, like my teacher hated me in history, because I was sitting there going, wait. How do you discover something if it's already there? I mean, the people are there. And this is when I still believe no disrespect to my brothers, the $5 Indian narrative. Like, for real. That's when I believe that ish. And then, but regardless, and then I even to believe the whole, you got me in Africa and brought me on boats, and then I hear how you got the plague, and I'm like, something doesn't make sense. And then when you're in Queens, right? This is in New York, and this was messing them up. In New York, in Queens, they have these places where, they'll keep it to show you that this is how life was back in the day. And you look at it and I'm like, yo, this whole place looks like so fake. It's like the wood looks fake. This is how they, like, you preserved it and all this shit. And I'm like, yo, for real? This is okay. All right, man. But then I look at the other structures around me, the older structures around me, and those same structures are the same type structures that are on like the islands in the Caribbean, having gone to visit my grandparents. So it kind of started flipping me, because I was like, wait, I go into the Caribbean and I'm walking around, I'm seeing Black entrepreneurs. Like, my family are Black entrepreneurs, period. My grandfathers, my grandfather on my father's side, my grandfather worked for the government, like entrepreneurs. And I respect that. And my grandmother, entrepreneur in her own right, sold Fanta and sandwiches out the back door, flipping money. But when I would look at the like my elders, like my aunt, and I'm trying to understand why she's so angry, I found a piece that I didn't understand why she couldn't have, but then I would try to explain it to her, and I got my ass kicked because I was being a smart ass, the Sag in me. Because I'm like, then I just felt I had this weapon, this book, and this weapon, but that weapon don't work when they can whoop your ass. For real. That weapon don't work for you when they whoop your ass, right? Because they think you're a smart ass, but I'm using scripture on them. And this is before the 3rd grade, y'all. Right? And I'm not here to do none of that. I am broken. Like, I am not here to try to be nobody's pastor, none of that shit. I'm a businessman that just happens to wear his faith on his sleeve because at some point in time, I'm going home. I'm going to go see my daughter. And the place where she's at, I've got to try to understand it while I'm here because there's a chance I don't get there if I don't understand why I'm lusting the hell out. You know, if I don't circumcise my flesh type beats. Because there is a chance, if you don't understand this, and especially like seeing dementia firsthand now, imagine all of like you want to change who you are so that you can just feel better about you because you feel broken, but you can't. And then all of a sudden you forget how to or the need to. And then when I'm going through everything, I'm at a low point in my mom's dementia and I'm dealing with the loss of my daughter because I do it every single year in April because that was what we're going to name her. April. And I'm trying to deal with all of that and not break. Because as a child, it's one thing when your parent passes on, but it's a different when they're still there, but they're not there. And that's hard to kind of deal internally with. And then at that same time, I had just stopped working with Jay Morrison. And we had all kind of like all the people that I was working with when I was working with him and we were trying to get his company up. I went ahead and started working with them and we were going to do the stuff that we were talking about digitally. All the while they're getting sick because they're still trying to do this Rona thing ain't real type beats. And I had dated an epidemiologist before, so I knew this was real. And this trend and through all that, my brokenness was I had no time to try to work with them because I didn't have the hours anymore because now I'm taking care of someone. And it's different than taking care of a child. This is somebody that now believes they work for a living still. So how can I work when the person there thinks, and she's a nurse, my mother was a nurse, and she thinks there's a patient? That's hard, y'all. So then every 5 minutes, I can't do a Zoom call. I can't spend an hour on a phone. I can't do any of those things. Losing business left and right. And all through this, I'm trying to hold my faith while getting crushed by the brokenness of my faith and how I'm not living it. Not to the way that I should. So now, you know, and then as a West Indian, you're never supposed to put your parents in a home. But then how do you pay $24 an hour for nursing care? That's how much it costs. I tried, y'all. $24 an hour. And I can only afford a few hours of work per day, and I could only do it 3 times a week. There was no way I could do heavy lifting of any of my clientele. And I lost all of my business, lost all of my connects, all of my contacts, everything. Again, broken. My business partner, Ty Durden, calls me Job because he's like, every time you turn around, you're just broken, but you don't lose faith. And I'm like, well, what else would I have? I am the 1 and the 0, the 1 and the 0, the 1 and the 0, the Alpha Omega, the Alpha Omega. Like, there's a programming language built inside of every single one of us, an operating system we can't even fathom that moves molecules, water, physical stone, because that's what your bones are. And it all can then go back to dust and microdust. Like, that's the dopest programming language ever, but we think nobody programmed it. And then you're in a virtual reality that you can physically touch, and it breaks down into light. And you can physically interact with it. And then we've now created these systems built off of all of these things that now interact with light, because that's what your internet is: light, fiber optics, let's not get twisted, and vibrational waves. Radiation and light, y'all, is our entire matrix. But we want to go in a deeper matrix because this one out here ain't cool enough. This game that we're playing is not one that is going to end up well. And that's kind of why I talk about, the day I lost my faith. Back when I was a kid, the day I lost it was Santa Claus or Satan's Claus. Anagrams. Because everything in scripture was broken because I no longer had faith. Because Santa was real, right? Easter bunnies and all that Ishtar bullshit, man. But we talk about it, but then what about those that are broken by it? What about those that lose their faith because of it? Because now, how do I believe in this quote unquote spooky God, this other thing that you've told me about, when I've already lost this fake dude that was supposed to be giving me a chimney? And when I ask you directly, how the hell in this apartment building in Queens we getting a chimney for this fat man to come into, he magically brings his own. And just smile. And that's when you learn about deceit and lies. And we can sit there and sugarcoat that shit, but that's exactly what it was. It's deception. You instilled a faith and then broke it. And then it's, everybody else does it. And that doesn't change the fact that you broke faith. And we're supposed to have a mustard seed of it. So now I have half of a half of a half, because I don't even know what part I had in the beginning then. And like I said, I've been a problem in school. I was a problem inside when I was a problem inside the Catholic school and in the Lutheran school. Like, again, I would look at the stained glass and say, well, glass is made of stone. Do not worship wood and stone. Don't have graven images. Like, we can't get the first two right. We can't get, like, Mr. Priest, we can't get the first two, dog. And he's calling me a blasphemer. And then when I go to Catholic, I have to do my confirmation, right? So I go do that, and I get a nun calling me a heretic because I'm asking her the same question. Like, wait a minute, we still, I'm just trying to get through the first two, y'all. I can't get through the first two with y'all without being called something because you don't want to deal with the fact that your faith is off kilter. But again, these are the ones that have una sanctum operations up in this piece. Rome. I was directly with Rome as a kid and clapping at him like, yo, but the first two though. All right, no problem. So, of course, I have a problem there. I'm going to have a problem with the whole doctrine of discovery type beats when they start talking all this una sanctum operations in school and history. I didn't understand that then. I just didn't understand how somebody named Columbus could discover some place that was already there and people were there. Like, you can discover a rock that nobody knew about and nobody used. You can discover a temple that was hidden and it came back, but people were there. They were breathing. It's not like you found their bones. You made their bones. You drowned them in rivers. You hung them from trees. You shipped them across waters. And again, my Anglo brothers, and some of the business owners I work with, like, look, this is just facto. But hey, we did it first, so we got you. It's cool. I ain't mad at you. But then we got to deal with the fact of there is something called traumatic PTSD. And genetically, we've been altered, y'all. On a genetic level, because of how we was beat like a motherfucker. And what we've seen is in our DNA. But even still, there's something deeper than that, though. There's something way, 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 way deeper than that. But to get there, of course, you got to get through dirt. My dirt was going into the military to get out of an abusive home and was willing to go to the war in the Middle East for it. I think it was called Desert Storm back then. Right? Or one of the things right before it. But I was playing basketball, broke my foot, and missed heading out by 16 weeks. After I was in the Marines, and we have a 3-month boot camp. I missed it because I was in the fall, and I still had to go to MOS school in the spring, and there was no way I was going to be able to be shipped over. So I ended up getting a duty station in North Carolina. Right. And, I got out of boot camp. I went down to Florida to see my pops, and he was proud, as you can be as proud. And then when I finally finished my MOS school, instead of going home, I had some extra money and I got a hotel room. And that was the first time in my life I was on my own. And I just turned 18 years old because I forced my mother to sign me to go into military so I can get out. So at 18 years of age, I am sitting in a hotel room, and it's the first time that I'm on my own. Like, nobody can tell me anything. No one can say anything to me. By this time, I don't know what my faith is. Because again, that whole Santa experience had already kind of shaken me. And then, nobody can protect you from the world. And when your parents have to work and you're a latchkey kid and the world has access to being able to fuck with you, it does. Especially in New York. There's wolves, but even Florida taught me that. But by then, New York had toughened me up enough to say that if you hit me, I'm going to get you back. I had already learned. And then the bully becomes your best friend. Because somebody stood up to his ass, and then y'all are cool as fuck. But life is exactly like that. We were bullies in the dark ages. Then we got our ass kicked. And now we can be best friends. Because, look, regardless of how you want to feel about color lines, y'all, this is about family lines. And you ain't their family regardless of your color scheme. You're not their family. You're not their bloodlines, and they don't want you in. Didn't a little girl tell you every single president was related? You forgot that one? Oh, we're blue blood. Ho, 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 ho. Ha, 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 ha. We have what? The blue and the red that work for the purple, the Pope. The Republicans wear what color? Red, right? Democrats are blue. Europe or the redcoats, the British, and Union was blue, all for the Pope, for Una Sanctum to keep us out of owning or doing anything for ourselves anymore. We can't create our own economies. Like, ask yourself, where's our economy? How are we a people? Just let's just say if America was independent and we actually were a country unto ourselves. Let's just Linda, let's just act like this is the truth. Like America, USA. Let's say we actually acted like a country and said, hey, we need our own economy. And let's act like that was a real statement. Not the bullshit Trump was talking. No. Let's just be real and say, okay, look. I got to get my business in order. And if I have a president who's a CEO and we say that United States, all capital letters, let's get this right. All capital letters is a corporation. And we put people up there. All right, we can put these stupid puppets we keep putting in there that's supposed to be in charge. Like, they're supposed to be like the lobbyists are supposed to be doing this with their whole right? So it's supposed to be for corporations, but none of these corporations are actually running right. So if we were actually our own country, wouldn't we be concentrating on creating our own commerce internally? Why are we just so focused on external commerce? Why don't we have any commerce lines internally? Shouldn't an entire state be focused on its state's own economy? Why are we worried about an economy outside of our own country? No, I didn't go to Desert Storm. I was supposed to be there. I broke my foot, missed it. RTP. We worry about everybody else's damn economy, but we don't focus on ours. And I realized just how bad that was being in the mills. Like, I'm in a room by myself and I don't know what to do. I mean, yeah, I'm about to go to work. I'm about to go do this, but that's it. This is life. Like, I sat there and was like, okay, the boot camp was supposed to be some hard-ish. Like, everybody respected I went to the freaking Marines. All right, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, that was it. That was it. That was it. Everybody that was scared, oh my God, the Marines. I'm like, okay, but that was it. I mean, it was hard. Don't get me wrong. It was hard. I mean, it's physical. So being in shape, cool. Having to get over your fear of heights to be able to rappel down a line, cool. And go cargo nets and slide across freaking ropes. All right, cool. But when you get through all that and you get through it because you don't want to get kicked out because you ain't got no place else to go. I don't want to go back home. I have to get through. I have no choice. Cortez, burn your boats type beats. I asked to be there because I needed to get out of an abusive home. I wasn't going back. And then when I finally did it, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I did it. It was hard, but now what? What am I supposed to do with my life? So I'm now going out in the clubs, right? Going back and forth to the clubs. I'm meeting, I'm hanging out with cats at the club and people that are in town that were military and now just stay there. Then become part of the economy. But those jobs there suck. The jobs by the base are never great. Go near any military base and look at the towns around them. You got somebody pregnant and now they're there. They get out of the military because they were messing around too much or wasn't trying to turn it into a career. And then now they're stuck. Or they're stuck there because now they got to pay because they were trying to make it a military thing, but they got broken because they found out their wife was cheating. And maybe his child isn't even his. And the cause of that, that was like, I started doing crap like that. I mean, I didn't even know, and this is how it happened. It was, I didn't even know the girl was married. I didn't know. I thought she just had, I just didn't know. I just thought she was dating somebody and he was out of town, because that seemed to be the systematic thing that happened. Girlfriend is dating a Navy guy or a Marine guy. He goes on a deployment. She gets lonely, goes to the club, sees somebody she likes, takes him home. But before she does, everything that looks like it's supposed to be a marriage is not there. It's hidden away in a closet somewhere. And the sneaky girl is taking a picture of the home before he left to set it back the entire way. Yes, back in the days, they do that with either Polaroids or take pictures of it and do it going to the supermarket, the convenience store. That's how sneaky they were. And I didn't understand none of that shit, because again, I'm 18 years old. Messing around with these older women. Not realizing they're just sinking their claws into some young meat. But then when you find out that they're willing to just break the sanctity of their marriage, then how do you, and at a young age, I'm like, oh, their marriage doesn't matter. It can't matter if this is what's going on in these streets. And so when I went to Japan, by the time I get there, I lost my ever living mind, y'all. Like, I lost my mind. It was just, especially when you're an MC, and I was just like, it was Method Man was the thing at those. Method Man, and it was Craig Mack. Just like doing the bang, robotic. Oh, who got the brand new flavor in your ear, man? And then you had what was Method stuff? I came to bring the pain, hardcore to the brain. Let's go inside my ash complain. Find out my method. Hey, so I can rock my mental method. I ate the pain, but niggas T-cal hit you with the brain. Yo, being able to hear music like that, being in Japan where they loved that music. Like, man, we just chant Wu-Tang. Just be in the damn club, and I'll just start doing a chant for Wu-Tang. And then everybody just lose their mind. You see just Japanese afros and dreads jumping everywhere. Break dancers. Man, I felt like I was part of this whole hip-hop experience. And then they were Technicolor, like what you see in Manhattan now, they had back then. Buildings with lights on them, and then the video game places. Like, it was dope. Dope. Man. And then, I step off the stage, and it's, you want to drink? Kawaii. I was like, felt like a rock star. But then, you know what? In my own way, I already lived the life of that experience. I've already felt like that energy. And it's addictive. It is truly, truly addictive. And that's why a lot of the sinister ministers are sinister. Some of these guys are the greatest MCs, master of ceremony, ritualistic type beats out on the planet. Modern day pimps. And, I know better. I'm sitting there and then, I'm just loving it. And then that whole situation of realizing my color every time I came back on base and realizing my color is hated, I was like, damn, I don't want to serve this military if you're just like, I don't have a reason to be here. Like, you don't like me. You just want to rip you let your own take care of you. And when it comes to me, I get double whatever he gets. Okay, so you take my rank, and he has to go through 4 times the amount of shit before he loses his. All right, I'm out. No, 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 I don't want another tour of this shit. I'm out. Plus, my staff sergeant just retired because he had told me to buy Microsoft at $5 a share, and I didn't. And he was able to retire early, buy out his contract. I didn't even know that was a possibility. He had a contract. Ah, yeah, you can buy those out. Okay, gotcha. So I got out. Only had to do that whole, and they didn't even want me. There was like, I barely did, like, they didn't even finish the thing with me as far as the extra service that you have to do. Because when you serve, you get like 6 years, but like 4 of them are active, and you have like 2 years inactive duty. And like by like my first year inactive, they stopped even wanting me to come down to even register anymore. They just didn't care. Plus the whole, they didn't need my personality type, because they already knew I just didn't care anymore. I was like, their narrative, their programming that they do, because you are programmed in the military to be a warmonger. So it no longer sits, it doesn't work. And you're not going to be, you're not there to be their war instrument. So when they realized I wasn't going to do nothing with that, I was out. So I'm in California getting ready to, because you got some time before your checkout date. So I'm in California, and then, one of these guys, we get real cool, and he's like, yo, my girlfriend's out in town. Yo, we should go to Tijuana and hang out. She's got some homegirls, you might, whatever. And I'm still in my lecture phase. So I'm like, shoo, let's go. We go to Tijuana, again, another mind-blowing experience. I had never seen a club that had 3 floors, and every single floor had different music. At the time, that wasn't a thing, but that was crazy. And then we had fun, and then it's time for me to, and I understood California love. It was right around the time that Tupac was doing his thing. And California, I think California just come out right around there, seemingly around there. And then I was just like, oh shoot, yeah, this is what this means. Because I was born in Cali. I just don't remember Cali. I was raised in New York to a point, and then I was raised in Virginia to be with my dad, and became, and then I became a military kid, going from Virginia to Florida. But, when we seeing Cali, seeing that vibe, and then coming back to New York, it was still, it was MOP, it was, oh shoot, it was Relax Yourself, Girl, Peace Out, Come Here. Electric Relaxation. Tribe Called Quest. Hold on. Relaxation. I think it's Electric Relaxation. Yep. Relax Yourself, Girl, Peace Out, Come Here. 1993. Yep. Midnight Marauders. No. No. It wasn't that one. Nah. It's the one with the woman with the, hold on, Chocolate Quest albums with the body paint. This Low End Theory. No, it wasn't Low End Theory. No. It definitely wasn't Low End Theory, because that's when I was in the military. No. Was it Beats, Rhymes, and Life? It might have been. Hold on. Hold up. Let me see, which one is this? get a hold, the pressure, mind power, curve, move it. Or was I late to the game? I might have been late to the game. I might have been late to the game, and it was Midnight Marauders, and I might have been late to the game because I was in Cali. Yep, it was Midnight Marauders. I was late to the game, so I was. Damn, I was late. That's a damn shame. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, I was late to the party. All right. So anyway, after I get back to New York, right? So this is around this time. I'm getting into computers a little bit because when you get out of the military, you basically, I'm out, I'm back in New York, and I don't have no direction. I don't have no direction wherever I can go, get out and do anything. And I'm bugging, like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, my mom pretty much checked me talking about, you ain't ish. You ain't got nothing. Don't be like your father type beats, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I got to figure out something. So I knew I was working with Excel. I knew I was working with Microsoft Word. So I knew I could get at least a data entry job. So the only thing I had to do was, of course, now I'm building computers, like I told y'all before. And then I had, I put Excel and put that all in there. And I just started like really learning it a bit and to watching videos back when it was like you had to download the entire videos, no streaming services. So I downloaded these videos from Linda, which was a training resource, and then basically learned everything I could about it. So then when I go in, I could go in and test out if I needed to. So I got a job in the Source magazine. There was a Music Factory was the back of the Source magazine. It was a place where they sold music equipment. So I went there. It's all the way in Brooklyn. So I went all the way out there, and that was a trip. But I wanted to see. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look at, because I'm a producer, and one, if I go there and I have a job, what's better than probably I can get discount and I can be able to buy my equipment directly from them. But I saw their business from the back end. Like, I saw that they were just basically getting it from China, and then they were just selling it online. So they had a warehouse, they had a website, they had Excel sheets, and their whole business was basically Excel sheets and phone calls and people calling in to order stuff, giving them the credit card, and then boom, them shipping it to them. That was it. The entire premise of their business. And I was like, wait, really? I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I saw the website, but I didn't see the back end. I didn't even think about the back end business of it. So in doing that, I started getting in because I already had graphic skills using Photoshop. That's why I say Photoshop, just being able to do design work gives you an edge, because even though I went in there and I'm doing data entry, I'm telling him and showing him my graphic work that I'm doing as I'm working on client work, building up my portfolio. And I ended up doing artwork for them part-time and getting paid for it. And then my art's in the Source magazine. So I use that, getting that foot in the door, and piggybacked off of those, leverage to go get a job at a duplications firm that had access to clients and printing, and they needed a designer who knew Photoshop. So now I have I can show them my portfolios in a magazine. Now, again, no college. See, this is what I had already learned. You go to college to do what? To have a portfolio. And then when you get out of college, you have no skill set. So if I already have a portfolio, I've punted college. That fast. What up, Immersive? Just like that. I punted college. And then because all I had to do was price myself in contention to say, okay, I know I'm not going to get $50,000, but I'm going to ask for 55 because the job is really 75. So they're getting a discount. So I'm going to discount even further because I don't have the skill and just say I want this much. And then they're going to negotiate it down. And that's my first job. I got 50 grand. or it was like 45. And then they hired me on from a temp, because they hired me as a temp. I got hired on, and then boom. So even take like every step. That's how I got my Citibank job. Was I took my portfolio, went over to Citibank, got in as a temp, because it was a temp agency that found me, got in as a temp, and then as a temp got hired. So this way they don't take the innate risk. They don't have to really train you. They test to see whether or not they like you. If not, they can get somebody else to fill that position till one sticks, and then they buy out your contract. See, my staff sergeant had taught me something. I was nothing but a contract player, y'all. See, when you're an employee, you keep thinking you work for somebody. And you don't work for nobody. You're self-employed person. Is it not your social security number only on you and that debt on the debt clock on your ass? Yes. So, una sanctum, operations, straw hat, straw man, pirate, straw hat, Luffy, anime, man, our Japanese brothers be looking out for us, man, be telling us some shit that these pirate waters are still pirate waters, and your straw man is still trying to be rubber out here. So that's how I pivot into getting into corporations. I got into a Fortune 5,000 corporation by using a temp agency, and you still can do that. I tell you this as I'm telling you, this is your hack to get through a recession. Yes, we're going on some faith moves, but your faith moves also need you to eat. How can you be fishers of men if you can't even fish out here? How can you secure for your family's futures if you can't even fish out here? Look, they don't get it, Linda. It's over. The same way they couldn't understand the buildings and they burned down, well, they don't understand industry. Especially not from the perspective of 10 laws and love your brother as you love yourself, for real, on some humbles. Because they're too busy secret handshaking. Everybody is secret handshaking. I ain't handshaking with them. Nothing against them. But they ain't being my brother's keepers. Look, you can call them commandments. I think of them as command lines because for some reason, Father just happens to like carpenters and builders. But all this time, like, I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm still broken, right? At that point. I'm now got this job. I'm like right before I'm getting this is right before I'm getting ready to do the like get into really programming, right? Right when I'm a security guard. And I'm still being an adulterer. At that point, still not caring. Like before I get all this grace and all the things you just saw me do you know what I had to sacrifice? That. I had to make a decision that I wanted to stop taking from others and stop being somebody else's being on the side, being the other man. I was tired never being able to contact the person I cared about if I started catching feelings. Because at that point, I was starting to grow up and say, I want a real relationship. I want somebody I can relate with, but yet I'm still out here relating with somebody else who's in a broken home and just wants somebody, she's going to keep that, but she's going to keep me to the side so she can have her cake and eat it too while I'm broken. So we can just be broken together, even more broken while I'm breaking her commitments to her relationship. And I'm having to now deal with that. being that other dude got tired, and I had to sacrifice that shit. I had to sacrifice being a pimp and all the stuff I was listening to when I was going through my military run. Because don't forget, in the 90s, that was Dr. Dre. That was Dre Day, AK. Well, before that, actually, that was rolling down the street, juice, lay back, with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. It just ain't my O's and out after you're done, then I hop out and make a quick run. I was programmed to not give a about a, right? I'm throwing up sets watching my homeboys die. Again, needed to sacrifice something hanging out on the street. Even going from being like that, throwing up fingers, going back to New York, and before, again, going to get all these blessings I just already told you about, I was still on the corner in my army jacket lining. You know, I'm from Queens. Mobb Deep. Man, I had my old army jacket. I mean my Marine camouflage jacket with the inserts, warm and toasty, wearing my boots, stomping. Back then I was lugging it up, because lugs was a thing. Right? On the stair steps, smoking my cheaper, y'all. I'm a leaper, y'all. But I had to get rid of all of that. I had to stop doing all of that. I focused on code. I focused on my focus. When everybody thought I was just sitting on a computer bullishing, I was studying everything I could get my hands off. For once in my life, I had something that I could succeed at. Like, because when you write a line of code and you get a whole hello world and you can put it on the screen and it's like, it's HTML and it's sitting there and it's like, oh, yo, I did that. What else can I do? And now with the fact that I can take Photoshop, design certain things and come up with a layout, then bring that into, say, the web, and just using CSS styles, bring it back. And now make it animate and do stuff like, yo. But back then, the internet wasn't what it is right now. And I walked in a hacker world. I was the guy that designed the interfaces for programs that were used to like punt people out of rooms in AOL chat rooms. I was creating like the UI, the user interface for these programs, man. And like the hacker scene was real fun. I just wasn't good at like all the programming yet. But now it's like, you know, you look at life different, because the internet was these small, nested, hidden little pockets of gems. Because there was no Google, there was like, it was there, but it wasn't like what it is now. It was like the search engine that hackers used to find shit that hackers used. Because it was a hacking program that ate up the web. Its spiders would just go find the meaningful shit, and they were just good at it. So they were hackers stealing information and not monetizing it, but well, because they were getting investment money, monetizing it. And they were just better hackers than anybody else at the time. Best Buy was a place that you used stolen credit cards to get stuff, and then you took that stuff that was delivered to a building that nobody lived at, because back then you could just mail it wherever the hell you wanted. Now you could take that stuff and offload it on a place called eBay or Craigslist if it was local. This is why those things are here. They were hacker tools. AOL was the largest network hacker tool. MySpace was only there because we lost Napster and Shazam. Shazam was and Firewire. No, we lost like all the, like we were getting games. Like we were able to get PlayStation games to download without having to go to Blockbuster. Like Blockbuster's days were sealed when I could download games online, and then just have my modified PlayStation start playing them, print them and play them. And then if I needed to, offload some, like if friends needed some stuff, they'd look out for me. Like, this is a pirate world, y'all. Bill Gates pirated his own software to China to beat Apple. So we've got to look that there's a whole dirty society that we've got to deal with, but we also got to deal with our own crap. And I had to leave all of my dirty shit, all of the crap that I was doing alone, and begin to channel into focusing on set goals. Okay, I need to get a job on a price point. Here's a lesson for y'all. Don't get a job for the job. Begin to look at your skill sets for the price point. If you know you right now, I say $50,000 to $60,000 is a good milestone. 60 grand is still a usable, especially if, well, it depends on where you live. If you're in New York or in these major cities, I can't do nothing for you. Your hustle is going to have to be threefold. I couldn't do it. I left. Oh, Kazaa. I forgot about Kazaa. Damn, RTP. Good one on that. So we've got to look at, there is absolutely nothing that has changed from the pirate days of old to what we are currently existing in. Nothing has freaking changed from anything that we've done. It's just morgified into digitization values. Like I said, Blockbuster was beginning to fall when gaming could be downloaded, when movies could be downloaded, when the networks were getting faster and faster and faster. There's a Moore's law in the speed that's happening as well, but I don't think people are talking about that. And not only the speed of transactions, but the speed and breadth of the information being sentient, being there before you need it. So now I finally go through everything, right? All the hacker stuff, do all this stuff. I'm learning code. I've been in the UI. I have all these graphics that I'm showing. I get the job at Citibank. I become an ethical hacker for them, breaking their programs, right? As well as designing websites for their content management system. At the time, they were using something called TeamSite. And they were getting ready to go into that. And as we were getting into that, I started realizing that soon my job was going to be out on the outs. Now, between time, as I'm focusing on my job, I'm in a relationship. Now, her relationship had just broken off. And part of that was because she needed software. And I had and a mutual friend of ours online had told her, hey, I know a guy and he gets software all the time. He's always, he's in all the hacker rooms. I've seen him before. Why don't you holla at him? So she hit me up on my email. I said, okay, gave her the telephone number. She was like, hey, I need to get AOL. I was like, okay, no problem. I'll meet you. So I take the train all the way out to Manhattan to hand it to her. I was just going to give it to her for free, just to look out. And then I'm standing there for hours. And this is at the time that you don't have a cell phone. Like, it's not like I had a mobile phone. right? So, um, I'm sitting there waiting. I have to get back on the train, get all the way back to my house before I see that I had messages on my phone. So I called her back and I was like, yo, what happened? I waited for you. She was like, oh, my boyfriend, this, that, and the third, and he's slowing me down. He didn't want to go. And then by the time we got there, you had already left. She's like, I really need this for a job interview. I was like, all right, I'll go back. So I get back on the damn train. I go back to Manhattan to hand her this damn Photoshop. And then when I get there, we talk, and then we start vibing. Now, again, she's with somebody else. And I ain't got no problems at that time with being with some, messing around or flirting with somebody else's relationship if they weren't interested in it. So I just do my little flirt thing, and we talk, and then I break out, and I don't really think nothing of it. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool, whatever. Well, next day I get an email, we chop it up. Then she wants to call me, we talk, and then we don't stop talking every day. Of course, her relationship is already bad, so she has an outlet for that. So then one day she just calls me and says, hey, can you just come and hang out with me? Because evidently some bad shit had happened at the house. And I was like, sure, no problem. So I head out, hang out with her. And then she was like, look, I'm going to be breaking out. I got that job. I'm going to be breaking out and heading to, I'm going to sleep in the office. And I looked at her. Now, she hustled her way to New York, y'all, from school. She hustled her way to New York, and she was working in the adult industry designing websites. And that's why I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And she's basically sleeping in the office. Like, she'd leave the office so that nobody would, they'd see her leave. And then she'd go back in the office, and they had washrooms, and she'd use the shower because she could go back. They just had keys. So there was no cards and nothing that you had to worry about. No security cams, none of that shit at the time. So she'd go back in, she'd take a shower, change her clothes, and she'd stay at the office, and then she'd just keep working. And then I'd hang out with her. Right. So I was like, yo, this chick, I dig her hustle. So then finally she's like, yo, I'm going to be moving into my own place. And I was like, all right, that's cool. She's like, I'm breaking off with him. I got enough money now. I'm going to get my own place. I was like, well, that's cool. She's like, you should come over sometime. So I was like, sure, why not? So needless to say, we end up getting in a relationship. And it's my first serious relationship. So now I'm working at the bank. She's seen me transition into that phase of being a banker. And she's doing her artwork, becoming a successful designer. And all the while, I'm focusing on the infrastructure of making money and seeing that I'm potentially going to lose my job. And all the while, as I'm starting to okay, I'm not going to be a company person. I can't develop as fast as they want. I think I'm going to lose my job here if I don't get up out of here. And then that caused me to stop working so hard and stop working so late and start me looking at my relationship. And then the Most High always has a way of doing stuff with me now and for years. And at that point, the Most High basically told me to get on her computer, and I did one day. And then he pointed out a folder to me, and I opened up the folder. And then there was a subfolder and a subfolder. And in that and I had no reason to do this. I had no reason to snoop. It's just I was led to it. And I go in, and then I find all of these nude pictures that she was sending to somebody. And then I realized now I was that other person. I was the husband or the boyfriend that was now, because of my not paying attention to my relationship, and she needed attention that she wasn't getting from me, but I didn't know she needed that much attention that she was going to entertain somebody else's affection. Well, I was the other guy. Why didn't I know it? Well, you don't know until it happens to you. So, with my job looking crazy and me looking at the nation of Moors that I was now really studying at that time, yes, I was studying the Nuwapia Nation. I was hanging out with one of the brothers. And then from there, I was also, that was my job, studying with the nation. And then we're going to do, talking about going to Georgia. And then looking at my job and saying, I need to become a developer, but I'm not going to get the time here. Maybe going to Georgia is a good idea because my relationship sucks anyway, and I don't want to be in New York anymore. And so I broke out. The relationship was breaking off anyway. About that time, my pop passed, right? He had passed on, and now I had to bury him. Now, for anybody that buries an abusive parent, it's kind of bittersweet, right? I no longer have to deal with his abusive mental disorderly traits. And as a man, I'd stop doing that anyway, because like he and I we boxed right before I got ready to go into the military. Like, I'm done, getting smacked up on. Like, I was already fighting. I was fighting people in school, and now I'm like, look, I wasn't as tall as him, but I was been playing football, so I know how to hit them ribs with a shiver. So, when he passed, I had to do the, I had to give the, not a eulogy, right? And in that room was my mom. In that room was my stepmother and two of my father's girlfriends, as well as the wife none of us knew he had. That's how uncomfortable that was. So as I'm giving my father's eulogy, the first thing I say is, well, I love my dad, and y'all know that he wasn't exactly the best role model in the world. And everybody started laughing. We had to break that tension because of the situation, what we're dealing with. I'm at the end of my relationship. I had just moved to Georgia. My dad's now gone. I'm in the room with exes and stunts and wives that had cheated with my father, probably more than them than I could even know. And I'm having to give a eulogy to somebody that everybody knew exactly what his character was. But we just had to find the good in it. So I go back to Macon, Georgia, where we were living at the time. And the nation was beginning to falter. Before I think the charges were beginning to bubble to the surface, or some shit was bubbling to the surface. And at that time, in my head, I felt something. And it was like, I feel Father always says something, or the Spirit says something to all of us, and it's whether or not we hear it or not. And I just felt it. It was like, I destroyed Egypt because of their vanity and their pride. And I'll destroy it again, because that's what they were doing. That whole Egyptian, Masonic mixture, space and beyond, and aliens, and all that crap, all that stuff together. There's a hodgepodge of stuff. And then he was like, no, I'm going to break this thing down. And he broke it down, like everything's gone, like to the roots. They don't even have a pyramid up. Not a brick nor stone is left of it. Tamaray, I think it was called. And right before, right after all of that happened, Next thing I know, this is right around the time I lost. I was dating. I was working at Media Play, and I met somebody, and then we were about to have a child, and she had sickle cell, and my stress, her stress, family stress. She lost the baby, and then I lost her as far as like she no longer wanted to be with me, and I wasn't working anymore, and things were just it was a bad time, man. It was bad juju. It was 2000, around 2003-ish, 4-ish. No, so 5-ish. It was about 5-ish. 2005, 2006-ish. Yeah, right around there. I'll say 2000. Yeah, 2005, 2006. And it was right around there, and then she and she stopped dealing with me, and then I went back to New York, and because I was starting to learn how to do trading, and I was beginning to do something called high yield investments, and then I was working with those, and back then there was a thing called e-gold, and I was using that and some other coin to transact back and forth between those things, and I was getting good at it. Then she called me back to Georgia talking about she wanted to get back together. And I'm like, but I'm in New York now and I'm doing well. And she's like, no, I want you to come back. So I come back, and then she pulls a disappearing act again. So now I'm back in Georgia where I didn't want to be, back in a situation where I didn't want to be. And now I've got more expenses to try to do my trading. And now my trading's even slower because I don't have the network, or I don't have the infrastructure I had when I was in New York. So I'm screwed again, back in Macon, struggling. Me and at the time, my business partner, Rick. And I'm trying to keep the studio going. And then one day I'm supposed to do studio work. I'm supposed to be working with GBC. I was supposed to be working with them on their mixing. No, actually, I was supposed to be working with Mike, and I was supposed to be working on his album, and we were working on a single. And also one of their songs was going to be a single. And I got to find it so y'all can hear it. It's a dope, dope, dope. Hold on. Do I have it? Hope I don't die in my sleep tonight. Hope I don't die in my sleep tonight. I don't have that song. I'm gonna have to find it and play it for y'all, man. It's a dope song. Anyway, so I'm supposed to be working on that, on mixing that, and we're supposed to be doing that. And I was supposed to be working on some lyrics for some other songs that he was gonna do, and then Hakeem, my brother that was in the Moore Nation, he was telling me, "Yo, I got this girl for you, man, and I'm gonna, but the girl I'm talking with, she got a man." So again, here we are, snaking. Supposed to be better than that, right? But here we are, snaking. This woman has a man, and he's trying to take. He likes her, but she had a friend, and she was gonna bring the friend for me. Okay, whatever. So he's saying, don't have a recording session. So in my spirit, same spirit that warned me about my ex, told me, yo, instead of doing what I want you to do, you're going to get ass. Is that right? I was like, yeah, but he told me I'm supposed to be, chilling out, and I'm ready to relax. It's a holiday. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let me know how that goes. Gone. I could feel like the hand come off for a second. Next thing I know, having fun, having a barbecue, getting ready, the ladies get ready to show up, and a dude walks through the door. And then there's two girls. So now the boyfriend and this lady, the one that he was supposed to be going with, no, the girl was being brought for him. So basically I got lied to so that he could be able to entertain his guests. So I'm annoyed now. I'm like, yo, we're supposed to, I only came to Georgia to do work. I only came to Georgia to work on this label that he ain't really trying to work on. We're supposed to be building shit that ain't really getting built. I'm finding all these dope ass acts, and he's supposed to be manager, but he ain't really managing shit. So I got to do I got to do the mixing, the mastering, I'm selling music on the freaking street. I'm doing all the things he's supposed to be doing, and he ain't doing shit but trying to chase booty. So then I was like, well, how is that different from every label we deal with? See, y'all, even when you're trying to start your own music label, your own may not be as serious about business to grow the things that is necessary to protect your tribe as you are. And what is your tribe? It's your tribe. Every single one of you have your own tribe. And yes, we are all tribe. But the responsibility is to look out for our family members and try to do something that at least can protect your own. But of course, that didn't happen. So now I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to do this. I'm not going to play around. I'm going to go into the office. I'm going to stay in my office all damn day, and I'm going to work on the things I want to work on. And for the most part, I did that all day. Now, because I did that, and because I just stayed and said, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, I'm just going to work on my stuff. I start mixing my album. I'm working on my stuff. Now, because I'm focusing on me and I'm working on my own stuff, and now Hakeem was that dude's name. He's playing my music inside. Now, this is the album he didn't even really want me to make. But now he's trying to big it up. Like I'm his lead artist. Because it's clout chasing. And I'm realizing, and I'm getting some discernment from that. And I'm just like, Father's talking to my spirit, like, you see? The same every step of the way as you were saying, this is what you wanted to craft for your music. And he was trying to lead the music down the way he wanted it to be. Now that it is complete the way you wanted it to be, because it was an album to my daughter. I haven't even released it yet. It is still in the chamber. I haven't released it because I want to remix it. And in there, I have Letter to My Unborn Child. I redid it from Tupac. Like I said, I'll play it one day. It's a real emotional album for me because it's that whole time me dealing with the loss of her and her mother as far as us not being in a relationship anymore and having to kind of not go crazy. So like my Macon time, I'm sitting there and the business is failing. I'm doing my work. And I go out and the dude, unbeknownst to me, now don't like me. And I'm not really, I'm a savage. I'm just like, I'm not trying to be cocky, but I love like kicking facts. And I come from, a temperament where if you're in New York, we can just talk smack and it ain't gonna offend nobody. You ain't gonna get sensitive. But if you're jealous and you got jealousy in your heart because all of a sudden your lady is feeling the swag in the room, and it's not me doing this. See, unbeknownst to me, he was trying to woo her away, but he was going to try to woo both on some dirtbaggery. Now, that energy must have been picked up by a dude, and that night he came back to the house after we got into some kind of talk. He came back like the girl calls and says, "Yo, he's my boyfriend's coming back. He's got a gun. He's coming for your brother." Now, between time, y'all heard my story. It's not the first time I've had a gun in my face. So I'm back in my spirit like that again. Like, oh shit, I'm about to die again. All right, let's go. Because I'm like, look, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. So what am I going to do about it? I might as well just face it. So he comes banging on the door and he's like, let me in. Let me see your brother. Send your brother out here. He's like, no, I can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, let him in. Fuck it. Look, dude, just if it's going to be, it's going to be. So I don't know what the hell happened. Things went crazy. I'm standing there looking at shit. I end up needing to separate these two. He's telling me it's weird, but needless to say, homie gets cracked in the face. I ain't crack him in the face. I ain't touch him. I'm sitting there just like the nigga coming to kill me. And then the next morning, in the middle of the night, the cops come because we outside, and presto changeo, I'm getting hit with an aggravated assault charge. Next morning, I'm waking up getting put into a jail cell. On aggravated assault, evidently I hit somebody when I'm standing in front of the judge. Evidently I hit somebody with a hammer. And I'm like, well, where's the hammer? No, you go find the hammer for me now. Because I would love to see this shit. All because now Scaredy Cat don't want to catch no charge because he want to be Biggie Badass. But then starts shedding tears the minute the cuffs go on. Like I said, when your homeboys come back not the same from from war, or don't come back, your sentimentality just kind of changes on you. Or if you're in the street and you're seeing your homeboy die in front of you, your sentimentality changes in front of you. But those that swear they hard behind bodyguards just break and fold under pressure. So now I go to jail. I'm sitting in jail. And do you know what I do? Oh, I'm in the day room, which was illegal, number one. Sleeping in the day room, which was illegal, number two. And I'm watching the television screen and I'm seeing like Law and Order. And I'm like, not only did my rights not get read to me, haven't seen a judge for over X amount of hours, over 48 hours. And I'm like, none of this shit is real. But I'm still locked the hell up and I still got to see a judge. And then I'm standing in front of the judge. He's telling me I hit somebody in the head with a hammer. I was like, what do you want to do? You want to, I'll let you out right now if you plead guilty. I was like, no, that don't make no sense to me. No, you can put me back in my cell. No, I'm fighting this. This is some bullshit. No. And I said it just like that, y'all. Cocky, just like that. No. And I think somebody saw that and saw something was about to change up. And I got to thank my cousin Chris, man. He looked out and got a lawyer involved and them charges disappeared. But I stopped messing around with any cornballs talking about they understood this hustle. I stopped believing in people's bullshit. Show me. Like I show y'all. I'm like, look, this is how you want to be a record label. This is what you do. Go put it on CD Baby. Takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Once all your stick goes in there, you just got to promote it, get utility. There's your royalties. Keep going. So, I get back. I get back from jail and I get out finally. I make bond or whatever. And then I go to my apartment and now I got to worry about this dude that came to kill me now being out. So I had already called before I got locked up. I had already called my business partner and I said, look, I need you to wake up Mike. I need you to go grab all of my equipment and bring that shit to the house. Bring it to his house. Take all of my equipment. I'm glad I did that because he did the same damn thing and had all of the house basically stripped out. As far as Hakeem, the guy that was supposed to be our manager. Luckily, I moved my equipment. So now when I come back out of jail, where do I end up going? I leave the apartment alone, the apartment I helped us get. I'm now homeless. And where am I? I'm in the place because I'm helping out the dudes that are rapping in my neighborhood and trying to be MCs and showing them how to do this business on their own and showing them to go to MySpace and create their layouts and upload their music and get their streams. Showing one of his cousins how to do Photoshop so he could make money and be their artist so that he can design all their CDs for them, showing them the game. Next thing I know, when I come out of jail, I have a place to land right at Mike's place. When I told y'all that debit card that I got from PayPal, that I was able to go to Church's Chicken to swipe it up and down to eat, I was living in his house at the time. That's why I said I don't do the hypothetical bullshit about what digital money is. You can't tell me. I lived it. You can't be anywhere than Macon, Georgia, in the middle of the damn Great Recession, right before it happened, and it's the military base is already shut down. They've moved downtown like 3 freaking times. Even music media play is shut down because music is shut down because Best Buy's bought all the warehouses out. There's nothing there for you to have a job with that you're going to make tens of thousands of dollars for. But I'm able to swipe my card and eat because I designed a MySpace layout for an artist, or I designed a CD cover with Photoshop because I had a laptop and Photoshop, or a desktop and Photoshop. I had a computer and an internet. And all of this I'm dealing with, still having lost my child and still trying to deal with those pains. And of course, I came out, and my ex, that the mother of our child April, was like, I want to get back with you. I want to get back with you because she heard I got locked up. But then again, poof, disappeared again. But at this point, I just didn't care. I ended up giving my studio equipment to Mike as a gift. Went to go help one of his other cousins, Big Flute, rest in peace, my homie. Went to his house to help him set up his studio in the projects, Section 8. Helped him get a studio set up out there so he could record his album. Then I met a relationship learning how to market on MySpace using robots. Got into a relationship and ended up going to Statesboro, Georgia because of my business partner who had friends and went to school in Statesboro, Georgia. And I just used the zip code, which was what MySpace, the power of MySpace was the zip code, y'all. And they don't even understand it. The minute you had a zip code and you could search for people by zip code, done deal. I could market any place on the planet for free. Free. Because you could just scrape by zip code, use the robot friend blaster, scrape all those IDs and send them ad invitations with a hey, da 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 whatever. And if they added you, my robot would send them a thanks for the ad. Now, I'm in Georgia, like I told you at that time, to learn to develop. So that entire segment of my life, I'm learning how to develop. Like I figured out, I was like, you know what? I got to lock onto some type of code. I don't think this Perl CGI crap is going to work. It's too complicated and clunky. And I started learning this thing called PHP and MySQL. And then I figured out Dreamweaver could connect to that shit. And then I had three content management systems, because again, content management systems were going to be the new thing because the bank had one. So I was like, let me go find if there's one for free. And so I went online and started hunting down, and I found PHP website. And then I was using those for about a year or two. And then I found WordPress at 2.5. And then from then on, I was like, I can build something on this. I can build websites on this. I can build businesses on this. Then I found the plugins, and all of a sudden this whole ocean of business opened up. When I came back to New York after, again, my relationship cheating, and the Most High I knew something was wrong with our relationship. And then the Most High told me to tell her to leave her laptop open because she started locking her laptop and locking her phone. And that was, of course, the biggest signal to me that something was off. And then I told her on the day I was leaving, hey, can you leave your laptop open and unlocked? Because just in case something happens with my train or my bus, I don't know if I have a bus or a train. I think it was no, I should train. So something happens to my train, then I want to be able to, get that information or get online because I have no other computer. I shipped my computer. I'd already shipped it home. So sure enough, I get a text message, and I was using a Ericsson at the time. I had just had an Ericsson phone, and I got a text message. So then all you can do is get a text message, and then you had to go to a real email to read it. So I opened up her email, and she had a Gmail open, and I was going to open a new window and just log into mine. But I saw something in her email, and it was like, "Hey, Poppy," and she was Puerto Rican, and I was like, "Hey, that ain't for me. I ain't getting no hey, Poppy." So I clicked and looked at it. And again, she's talking to here's again, it's about for somebody to do it. And a video she had made for me, she gave to him. Intimate. And I was like, wow. Okay. But of course, Father just wanted me to see again. Like he wasn't going to leave it open that she's going to be able to come back. So I go back to New York now. I'm broken. Like now when I leave that relationship, I don't, I have some development skills, but I was doing all the Second Life things through that relationship, and of course, Second Life is now gone, and here it is. I'm back in New York, back living in my mama house. Now I don't have my daughter. The relationship I thought where I was gonna have a family, and that was gone, and then the relationship where this last relationship I had just had was over, doing part two again, infidelity. Father, making sure I understood you reap what you sow. So I come back and I start programming again, and I start remembering things. I remember the fact that I found 666 in the Unix machine. That 666 is change mod. Hold on. New change mod. I know I show y'all a lot. Super user for Unix command, right? It's a super user code. So that all users can read and write, but cannot execute the file or folder. 777 gives you all full world, real world access. So I'm beginning to program again, and I'm dealing with these systems again. And I'm remembering that we're not going to be able to buy or sell without the system. And I'm realizing that this system's going to take on a life of its own. Now, I'm still waiting for this spooky devil that's going to jump out the window, right? I'm still waiting for the horns and the whole Damien and the Omen type beats. I'm still waiting on that. Like, that's what I was waiting on. But then I get this real weird feeling that that's the juxtaposition. That's the story that everybody wants you to see, because if you saw the other story, all of a sudden it's going to start to mess with your concept of reality. Why does Father like carpenters? Why does he like builders? Because he likes the fact that you can build a shell, but the shell don't move. You build a frame, you put the skin up, right? Like your bones, and you put the skin up. It has to be on a solid foundation, because if it's shaky, it falls down. You are the temple type beats. The story that Yeshua left for us that we really need to hear is be your brother's keeper. Figure out these 10 command lines and put them on your heart so that you can work as a nation. Because if you don't have principalities, what the hell do you hold? There's no common thought if you don't have at least some type of principles, 10 of them at least, to say, hey, structure yourselves around this. Give you some good guidelines to be able to have a tribe that all the tribes kind of think alike, right? Just a little bit of systemization, just a bit. But it helps you to not F over your brother man. So then, Yeshua comes and he says, hey, love your brothers, you love yourself. So that way you can even out that vanity type thing. Be fishers of men. He loves carpenters. He loves builders. He loves seeing us create. And programmers are no different, because then you start to thinking in digital. Today's carpenters are programmers. They build homes, they build structures. Facebook is a structure. Instagram's a structure. It was purchased as an asset, as a property. No different than any piece of property on the planet. Google.com is a property. ToxicHustle is a property. .com, right? And it's a property because I got to pay taxes on the corporation. EIN type beats. All caps, ToxicHustle. So let's get to the 666, a deeper level of hell. We have our IP6 protocol, with your internet protocol, the one that now allows multiples on multiples of machines to now integrate and come full circle into the web. IP4 only had a limited amount of IP addresses it could address, having limited amount of machines it could get on the network. IP6 opens up the floodgates for an infinitesimal amount of machinery to hit the network. The Internet of Things. 6G. Your broadcasts of long-form broadcasts across ranges. Another vibration unit mixing with your water. So, get your nutrients up type beats. But this network hasn't even rolled out yet because they're only in the 5G network. And if all of the lunacy you're seeing people that freaked out for 4G and then the insanity that rolled out and is continuing to roll out with 5G, you can only imagine the buggery that's coming when 6G lays its landlines out. What year is 6G coming out? 2030 initiative. I want you to understand, I didn't do this on purpose. Again, I just get led places, just like you do. Wasn't trying to find this. But there's a 2030 initiative. Somebody just posted something about that. Hold on. Where's the Discord? And I didn't even do this on purpose. Hold up. Is that? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. RTP. It's you. You did RTP. And I didn't do this on purpose. Boom. In the Discord, Adapt 2030. Adapt 2030. I did not try to do this on my own. Bow. 6G is in 2030. So there you go, RTP. Part of this right here, your 2023 agenda and this 2030 agenda. So for this 2030 agenda, also look at 6G being part of that agenda. Now that's ugly. Then you're going to have your Wi-Fi 6. That is going to be and that's already rolled out, right? Netgear Wi-Fi 6. Yep, so that's already out. The most recent iteration of Wi-Fi network protocol is a substantial upgrade. Hold on, let's let Intel tell it. Since it's Intel, you know, Cointel Pro type beats. Okay. Intel, that's what you do in the military when you're trying to get intelligence. All right, all right. All right, so Wi-Fi 6 promises big changes to the wireless networks everywhere. What is Wi-Fi? It's a term created Wi-Fi 6, 2.4 to 5 gigahertz frequency, 600 to whatever. How is it different? Wi-Fi 6 is a substantial upgrade from other previous generations. Faster speeds, 9 gigabits of speeds can compare to less latency. So it's innately interactive, so you can have more real-time messaging going back and forth. So this is going to be the network of things communication. So your satellites, far, landline, above ground, drones, all in the sky type beats, principalities of the air, and Wi-Fi will handle your ground operations. So that'll be Amazon piggybacking off of your hardware, which they've already said they're going to do. Oh, of course. Every time you type Amazon, it wants to take over your shite. Ah. It's annoying. Go back. Thank you. There. There, Amazon expands its sideward Internet of Things network with Enterprise Upgrade Bridge. Oh, Amazon is about 2021. Here it is. See, I knew it was somewhere in my repository. Amazon is about to share your internet connection with your neighbors. Here's how to turn it off. So all to be able to broadcast, kind of like what you see with helium and all these helium miners, all of that is going to be broadcasting, and those networks are going to be generating revenue. But the internet or the Wi-Fi 6, all of this is going to be ground level. So your cars that drive themselves, delivery vehicles, all of that will be piggybacking off of delivery trucks will be utilizing that network service, the Wi-Fi service. And it can interactively follow anything everywhere. So here's your 666 protocol. All of these things are here right now, except for, of course, 6G. Once we finish getting irradiated with 5G, of course, then they'll get the next one up and running to go ahead and keep mutating ourselves. Analog is a myth. Oh, no. The digital universe. No. Let's see if I can. Digital physics is a speculative idea that the universe can be conceived of as a vast digital computation device, or as output of deterministic or probabilistic computer program. Question. Question. Computerized DNA motors, moving molecular robots. How the DNA computer program makes you and me. DNA computing. A programming language for living cells, MIT. How to program DNA like we do computers. How is it possible that your light cells are programmable? Hmm? Where did that come from? Hold on 1 second, y'all. How is that possible? How is it possible that your DNA is programmable? What, then your cells ain't programmable? Like, we're talking about past your blood, plasma, like your DNA, your actual core structure is a programming language. They're going to make hard drives out of it, y'all. DNA hard drives. News. What is DNA storage? The future of storage, right? Then DNA CPUs. September 2021, a new DNA-based chip can be programmed to solve complex blah, 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 blah. Huh? But we have no Father in heaven, as above, so below type beats. It doesn't even matter about melanin if melanin is still a genetic substance that is programmable. You know, melanin is nothing more than a symbiote. It's nothing more than a symbiote. But the symbiote is still genetically made up of a programming language. It's not the thing. The thing still has programming language to make it up. Your core makeup is a programming language. That just means it's another artificial intelligence within an intelligence then, right? If your melanin can act on its own accord, that means it's not just thinking with you, it's thinking for you. Huh? Spider-Man? So they're already getting ready to digitize everything. So now you got hard drives that are going to have terabytes on terabytes of data that can store consciousness. Boom, transhumanism, Jasmine. Transhumanism in the future humanity towards digital slavery. Upload yourself. The singularity. They're already doing something called Designer babies. Being able to put in and splice in whatever you want. And then you also have CRISPR, where anybody, CRISPR babies, right? In 2018, the world learned that the world learned that he had implanted embryos in which he had used CRISPR to edit a gene known as core CR99, which encodes an HIV co-receptor with the goal of making them resistant to the virus. The implantation led to the birth of twins in 2018, and the third child was later born to separate parents. They are already in their own back labs genetically creating, I guess, mutated X-Men? Huh? I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to tell you the truth. And you see that everything's in Scripture. Everything leads its path back to Scripture. In the last days, it would have to be stopped, lest no flesh be saved. Why is that there? No flesh be safe at all. Beware, your devil, your adversary, the devil, is like a pacing animal awaiting all whom he can devour. That means we're going to get eaten type beats. That must mean Matrix type beats. So who wants to put a chip in your head? Who helped get PayPal, a big digital system, up and running that caused digital money to really expand across the world? Who's got rocket ships? Who's got principalities in the air or satellites? Who's warning you of that AI is evil and created an AI? Who said that you're going to have to merge with your AI to be able to be safe? Iron mixing with clay. You're not going to be able to tell. You can't do it now. They're already sense amongst us. Y'all seen them glitching the hell out. Can you tell until they glitch out? You just can't. You're not going to be able to tell. By your actions, by your fruit, you shall be known. That's the only thing I'm going off of. See, it's real simple to try to fake. But your energy is your energy. Your aura is your aura. And if you faking the funk, it's gonna come out in time. It's gonna come out. Like who you are is going to be made manifest. We look at all of these idols. What we're not supposed to have, right? No idols. And we make American ones every year or twice a year, or we make voices, or we make whatever. Fact though is we crush ourselves under the weight of our own stupidity, wanting to have somebody else that we can point the finger to so that we can raise somebody else up to then look at them so they can be destroyed later. Fact though is all of those glitch outs are glitch outs, and we don't know what they are or who they are. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. What we have to concentrate on is, do we have an economy to be able to circumnavigate the bullshit so that we don't have to live the way that they want us to live? Like, look, if I'm getting back to being part of my tribal thought processes, besides what we were and the titles we want to hold up, what principles did we hold? Trail of Tears led to Tulsa. Tulsa had a financial district called Black Wall Street. We had commerce. It got burnt down. All right. Build back better. Then they're build back better. Land is land. Commerce is commerce. Precept is precept. Their bullshit is bullshit. Their game is failing. Their Ponzi scheme can't hold its weight no more. They'll continue to print money to do nothing. Where is the work? Where is the action? Where is the motivation to do something past the norm? Because at this point, doing the bare minimum ain't going to get us out of the bullish we're getting into. Look, an economy slowdown is because there's no productivity, and the productivity has just changed. Now, of course, we're going to get into video games, and we're going to get crypto in video games, and then people are going to get contacts, get chips in their head, and work through the night while we sleep. And we are not going to be able to keep up. And everybody's going to want a chip in their head to be competitive. And then they're going to lose something of themselves. Their system hasn't changed. RTP. If you go in the book is the same. It's the same freaking story repeated over and over again. A dynasty rises. They, by the fourth generation, become debauchers of life. And in their gluttonous debauchery, they don't keep a system strong. And since they can't keep the system strong because they didn't make the system, they've just been reaping the benefit because, oligarch type beats. Well, then the system breaks. We're at that cusp. No different than when Rome did it. No different when the Dutch did it. No different than Europe having the chain. No different than China. Not China, but the Egypt, quote unquote. In 10 years, he shouldn't have an issue as he's potentially start his own Oscars. That whole narrative don't even matter, man. What was Will's first major role? Wasn't it an emasculation of himself? So we now want to feel sorry for him because he's emasculated? Because he's being publicly emasculated on a consistent basis? Wasn't the first role he did his own emasculation in that movie? Crying in the shower? And I'm supposed to be upset because he can't go to assembly? Isn't that what we had in school, assembly? So I'm supposed to feel some type of way because for 10 years he can't go to assembly to keep getting heralded as an idol that we're not supposed to have in the first place. Okay. That's cool. Like MG says, get your money, little duffel bag boy. I don't have time for that. Where is my economy? Where's my economy? That Will has his. Like, it's the same thing I can't get with any of the basketball stars or football stars or anybody that's got all this wealth and people put them on shoulders. And I'm sitting there like, yo, none of them matter. Like, I've dealt with them. Like, I've been in the industry, been around all these people. They're not that cool. Most of them are a-holes. And you can see that in their spirit as they get older. Like, look at all the stars we have. Cuba Gooding Jr., when we were young, we thought he was cool as hell. Look at him now. Stacey Dash. Man, I thought she was fly. Look at her now. Jada. Man, I thought Jada back in the day with the low down dirty shame. Jada. Boy. Look at her now. Like, all of that. What does it serve you to gain the world but lose your soul? The title of this is Mustard Grain of Seed because we don't have that little bit. Or the subtitle. Subtext. Babylon is fallen. You can look at the whole, what's in scripture. They're going to look at Babylon and say, oh, how the mighty has fallen and become the habitation of devils. Look at our world right now. What is everybody saying about America right now? Oh, wow, they used to be strong. We don't even want to use their money. Oh, America's finances getting ready to collapse. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, yeah. Oh, how the mighty has fallen. What does that have to do with us? We were here already. Their structure is breaking down. I got nothing to do with that. Is the internet still up? Okay. Can I still network back and forth? Okay. I'm gonna give you your. You want your tithes, right? I gotta give you your taxes. Okay, I'm gonna give you your taxes. Look, I'm gonna start this corporation over here. We're gonna do some, maritime stuff with this. We're gonna work this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Until I can start doing things I need to do to be able to get my straw man off your purchase. Get it out your purse. In a few years, will there be places they'll say, "Hey, I'm gonna take whatever your version of storage of value is and you can get citizenship?" Sure. Can I make a decision then that I can decide to go? Yep. But my home from the Caribbean had mariners that came here back and forth, sending my people back and forth to what we considered mainland, just like Hawaii with Kamehameha, right? King Kamehameha. Like they use that for Dragon Ball Z. Kamehameha, right? And I'm sorry if I'm ruining. I can't spell worth a damn, y'all. H-A. Here it is. Kamehameha. Right? Here it is. Right there. And let's go get some images. Look at that. Come on, man. And then we go D B Z V Kamehameha Dragon Ball Z. Getting your power out. Come on. Kamehameha. Right? Bam. Swarthy. That Onyx King is swarthy. Come on, man. And then, of course, we got to deal with the California. Right? Come on, man. California. Khalifa. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. Plymouth Rock landed on us, y'all. Come on, man. Come on, man. So, with that being said, if the Trail of Tears led to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we had Wall Street, y'all, where is your commerce? Are you trading commodities? Are you getting equities? Look, the market is the market is the market. And at the end of the day, it's a world market. Are you looking at the world to be able to be a part or bit player in it? Do you have any say in anything that's going on? You really don't. And walking in the street with signs and picket ish ain't gonna do ish. Is that really gonna feed you? No. Is that really gonna take care of you? No. Meanwhile, between time, you've got the IP, your internet protocol, how you connect to machines is already in the 6G, 2030 initiative type beats. Around the same time that RTP said that they're going to go lose their mind. Watch that video later when I have a drive to do RTP. So I'm going to listen to all those videos for 2023, definitely for 2023, because I got to see what's going on with that crap. and also for the one that you sent for 2030. So I'm gonna check them out when I do my drive later. And then of course we got Wi-Fi 6, which is already out. They've already got the equipment. There's your 666. Speeding up to be able to get thought interaction machines. Oh, and then let's not forget your Sir God Elon. Optimus is rolling out. Optimus Prime. He's building these warehouses, and he just did a major launch event, right? They just did it this week. Optimus is rolling out. He's rolling out his robot in 2033. His humanoid robot. He's going to, these machines. So Westworld, y'all need to start watching Westworld. For real, I'm going to get back into my Westworld. I'm going to do me a marathon. There's this right here. That is pre-predicted programming like a motherfucker. But this is coming. And I watched Rise Out of the Sea of Man, a beast, and on its lips, blasphemy. You know, I am God type beats. Yeshua was here to tell you what a temple was, y'all. That is his greatest gift to you. Destroy me this temple, and in 3 days I'll rebuild it. He was here for you to understand the temple. Why? Why is that important? Because then, when the beast is inside the temple of God, proclaiming itself God, and if AI is going to be heralded to become a god, would that not put the beast inside the temple of God, proclaiming itself God? An against Yeshua. Somebody against Yeshua saying, all of you are beautiful as you are. All of you are marvelous as you are. You are digital beings on your own. You are of your Father in his image. Hard drive, light. What is image? Image is hardware. The entire Bible is a damn coder's manual. I'm going to move you from one earth and put you in another earth. Disk imaging is a form of hard drive backup that places all of a hard drive's data into a compressed file, and that can be stored on other devices. I will take you out of one earth or storage device and move you into another storage device. Stop playing with me. Of course, Father exists outside of the system because the system can't work within the system. Stupid. He has mainframes, virtual systems. We call them virtual realities. But in quantum, you can have and spin up multiple realities in one time and interact with all of them at one time. We're already learning that, quantum mechanics, quantum physics. The quantum, which is where we all exist. In every phase, in every shape, in every form. Hence the Mandela shifts, because we just skip over to something and skip back to something and skip over something, because they keep smashing them damn atoms in their hadron colliders and keep skipping us all over the place. Tower of Babel type beats. Gateways, not tower, but gateway to heaven. Stargate. Stars explode. Smashing atoms. Oh, come on now. Stop playing. So if your DNA is a storage device and you're a programming language, by pure definition, that's your DNA. It's your, by not even your cell. What makes up your cell is a programming language. Does that now not make you understand when the Bible said that your flesh is going to tell on you? Is it not a sensor unit? Aren't your eyes sensor units? Isn't the mouth a sensor unit or emitting of a unit? Your eyes will offend you. Your flesh will offend you. Everything is storing its data. Nothing is lost in the sauce, right? Everything is recorded. Duh. There you go. DNA hard drives can store infinite terabytes, Google terabytes of information. And they know this. You are a miracle of code. Period. You are the greatest artificial intelligence, physical intelligence ever manifested. Your flesh and water, your rock and water, your electricity and nothing at the same damn time. You tear out a piece of hair and put it underneath an electron microscope, you see nothing but atoms. Break them down even further, and it's a programming language. So you can't tell me that somebody ain't programmed this. So like I said, why was Yeshua here? To let you know what a temple was. And that at some point you're going to put something inside your temple that's going to make you think you're even smarter than you are. But like Father said, you weren't here when everything got created. Now, when I say you're not going to be able to buy nor sell without this mark, the mark is the fact that you just don't want to be you no more. It's not just a chip. It's just giving up on all of your humanity, saying, I don't want any of the gift. None of this is important. This is not me. I am better than me. I'm going to put myself above the stars in the heaven. Doesn't that sound familiar? O ye Lucifer, O ye anointed cherub, that you wanted to be held above the stars of heaven. Oh, how you have fallen. This is where we at, y'all. Business is business, life is life. But truth is truth. You're looking for Damien and the Omen. I'm letting you know you're looking for somebody that's telling you something against Yeshua. Everything that Yeshua told you, you're hearing something different. And that difference is anti-Yeshua. Or anti his stance. Anti the 10 command lines. Anti love your brother as you love yourself, because you should be able to love yourself. That is anti Christ. Anti thinking that you're a holy vessel. Anti thinking that you're a temple, worthy of holding the light of holy praise inside your being. See, you have to kind of love yourself again. And that's hard to do when everybody wants you to hate you for some other reason, a color, just your principles of sexuality. Look, I ain't got no time to judge you on any of those things. Whatever the command lines are, whatever repercussions come from whatever it is, I know I ain't safe. And all I can do is walk a path. When it comes to my business, I wear it on my sleeve. This is on Toxic Hustle. My clients come to Toxic Hustle. My clients can make a decision whether or not to work with me because of my thought process or not, but I ain't going to hide it. I don't care to, don't need to, because at this point, I don't have to. There's so much revenue internationally, there's no reason to. This whole system is just a replay over and over of collective disorder or collective destruction. It is a cipher of destruction. Like I told you in capitalism, colonialization 9.0 or colonization 9.0. Like this collective destruction. Look, the finances, like look at the money. Like for me, I'm very pragmatic with it. if we're not generating enough work and we're not generating enough labor and we're not generating enough cash flow, and then there's not enough energy going into manufacture, you see, fiat is supposed to be cash, capitalization is supposed to be come from energy, right? I do something, I sell something, announce it, market it, and in those margins, I get sales. In that, somewhere, I'm able to reap a benefit to feed my family, right? From my fruits. But we have to toil kind of hard on the streets. Out here, these people got their funny money. You got to do something strange for some change. Nah, that whole methodology and indoctrination bullshit, we don't have time for no more. You want to go put on robes and costumes and eyes wide shut yourselves? Not my problem. You've got all these people want to cuck their lives up now. They want to be cuckolds and then want the brown skin domination. I ain't got time for your perversion either. I don't want your wife. You can keep that. I'm trying to learn how to think like my father does. Because as a father who has lost my daughter, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't everything I would want for her. And the worst thing for a father is to feel like I'm never going to have my child. Now, look at your father in heaven and ask yourself, how does he feel for any child that's not going to go home? That's the lesson he gave me at the loss of my daughter. That's the truth I want to share from you, from my pain. And what keeps me going is that as a father, I would not want my child to not be with me. I hunger and yearn for my child's embrace. I miss what I'll never have. And that is how your father feels. That's the lesson I've had to learn. And that is the lesson I'm going to leave with you today. So, y'all, I want you to be safe. I want you to be strong. I want you to realize that you are worthy. And do not let any of this bullshit negativity that is flowing out here flow into your energy, because it's not for you. This new world order already ran over us. And this next phase is we just have to be able to really think about the truth, which is commerce is commerce. We pay our taxes. They're going to play funny games. Be of the world. Be in the world, but not of it. Because you can only serve one master. So you have to ask yourself, to whom do you serve? Much love and respect, my tribe. Love y'all. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace out.